Good afternoon. There it is. Hi. I'm Stephen Nuss from the Music Department. This event started as a number of conversations in the Music Theory 4 class. We were working on music and the contemporaries of American composer Martin Feldman, who had a great affinity to Mark Rothko, Jackson Pollock, Philip Guston, a lot of the painters in New York in the latter part of the 20th century. And he always referred to his music as painterly. And so the class got quite interested. Well, I was interested, so they got interested in what it meant, or what it could be. I have a really loud voice anyway. What it could mean. And so we began playing around with things, and the more and more we talked, the more and more I thought of this man I had met at a conference at Amherst not too long ago. The man who's here, Nicholas Meisel, who I chatted with, and you know, when you go to these conferences, you talk to a lot of people, but he's sort of stuck in the mind and in the brain, and so I thought, who better to come and talk about space and liminality and sound and stuff. And so he's here, and there are some people who should be thanked for bringing him here. One is Carol O'Neill from the Colby Center for the Arts and Humanities, who thought that this sounded okay. The Goldfront Center and the Cultural Events Committee. Also, Professor Paul Leary sitting back here, who managed to put all the right wires and things in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, sounds great.
It's part of the performance, right? He's just fooling with my mind.
Shake it.
Oh, right. Shake me or the mic? So thanks to all of them, and thanks to the class for being willing to basically do a performance piece. This is not a lecture. This is not an academic paper. I'm thankful that I'm too young. Well, I'm not thankful, but I'd just say I'm thankful in a way that I'm too young to remember San Francisco in the 70s in the Haight-Ashbury neighborhood, but that's sort of what I imagine this is like, which is not a bad thing. Sort of like that. So with no further ado, I'll turn it over to, but yes, I do have one more ado. The sounds and things you were hearing when you came in were a recording and a composition made by Adam Gallagher, who is up there, like God, standing up there, who's a neuroscience, are you a neuroscience major? Is that what you do for your living? Yeah? And you can just say what it is, just say, what was that?
So, what you were hearing when you came in is just, it's audio produced with Ableton Live software, and basically it was all composed entirely out of a conversation I had with a friend of mine describing some synesthetic type experiences that he's had.
What sort of experiences did you have?
Connecting sounds with shapes, actually, visualizations.
Mm-hmm. So that's what you were hearing when you were walking in. And it's time for you, Professor Meisel. So please welcome Nicholas Meisel. He's the important one.
Thank you for coming. It's nice to have a full room. I'm Nicholas Meisel. I come from Washington State University in Eastern Washington. What you're sitting in is a installation, is the word that we like to use. My work is site conditional, which means that the object or the experience that emerges develops as an organism would in the environment in which it lives. And so it's a direct response to this space. My reaction to how the architecture is used or not used. I really thrive in liminality, the space that is kind of marginal, stuff that you don't think about, and you don't think of it as an art space. A lot of that then hinges on where can I attach things, where can I not attach things, and some of it is a little bit synesthetic, in that I'm taking in all that information as a dancer would, and I am sort of moving through the space, and this sort of becomes a record of my performance. A number of years back, I started realizing that I wasn't sharing all that information. because I would listen to sounds, and then I would take the sounds away, because I wasn't making a music video for John Coltrane. And so I started making my own sounds, my own noises, and I realized that there was a real direct connection between those things, and they thrive together, and then that's evolved for me to where I'm collaborating with a lot of musicians and composers and whatnot. So, I would also like to thank Carol O'Neill from the Center of Arts and Humanities in the Goldfarb Center, and Dr. Tasha Bradley, the Colby Cultural Events Committee, and Stephen Nuss and Dr. Eggplant for conferring and bringing me in. So it's I know it's kind of a strange thing to do, an art professor coming into a music program, but I really am excited to be here. Paul Leary and his electronic genius, he fixed the mic, it's really great. And of course, my collaborators from Music Theory 4, they've been really interesting. It's been fun to have dialogues with them, and this really has evolved out of those dialogues. Most especially, well, and I also want to thank the 2 neuroscience students, that's a really nice addition. I most especially want to thank Luke Martin, who, as he worked in this space, he took some of the prompts from the Rothko-Feldman kind of idea, and those evolved in him making measurements of this room, taking those measurements and converting them into centimeters, and then converting them into wavelengths and creating an audio piece that you're going to start hearing here in a second. As we go, that work evolved, and I listened to it after he looked at my work, and then it sort of fed off of one another. Okay, so what happens is a real contemplative space where you're kind of trying to figure out what it means to be in that space. It's not unlike dancing in a club, and you move a certain way because the music goes a certain way, right? So what I'm going to ask everybody to do is I'm going to ask you to sit for a moment, and I want you to listen, and I want you to look in whatever particular direction you're seated, and I want you to stare and think and try to memorize what it is that you see. And I want you to kind of try to absorb it and see how much of it you can remember. I'm going to invite this bell to ring for you, and I want you to just focus on the sounds coming in your ears and the information coming in your eyes. Now, if I could get you to take your piece of paper that I gave you, your small card, and flip it over. Take the pencil I gave you, and with your eyes closed, this is your object, your artifact you take from here. I'll never see it. It's your private. I would like you to take, with your eyes closed, and draw a continuous line for the next duration of the bell. What it is that you sense. Invite this bell to be creative.